Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I'd do a tutorial using drugstore products. Now, you know, you know that I often do high-end Charlotte Tilbury, MAC, and that's because I'm in a situation where I can't spend on other things, and therefore I don't have to prioritize certain other things. But we all have different priorities in terms of spending, and I wanted to show you some of the drugstore products I use. Now, just want to say before I start, I haven't quickly gone out and bought drugstore products to show you. These are things that I do use that I may not have mentioned up to now, and I use them because they're good products and they're good brands. And just because they're drugstore doesn't mean you have to compromise on quality. You just need to know what you're looking for. And sometimes it's a bit of trial and error. So I'm going to take you through. The only difference I would say with this is that I use these products, but I don't necessarily consciously think of putting them all together to make a look. And that's what I'm going to do for you today. So let's get going. Now, first of all, I want to prime my face. Now, there's a couple of options. This one is called Baby Skin by Maybelline, and it's an absolute dupe for the Benefit Porefessional primer. Costs about £4. I'm going to put all the prices underneath because I haven't had a chance to look them all up. But very good. And then we've got this one, which is called L'Oreal Infallible Mattifying Base, and I think that's the one I'm going to use today. Very good primer. You know, it's a sort of silicone-like primer, so that it smooths out your skin, ready for foundation. Okay, and I'm just going to put that on with my hands. It just makes everything glide on a bit more smoothly. Okay, and I'm going to make sure I put a little bit under my eyes as well, just to smooth that out, and some on my neck. Okay, now before I move on to foundation, I'm going to use a colour corrector under my eyes, and this one, very good brand, very affordable, NYX. This is a medium dark circle colour corrector. You can get these in Boots and any other drugstores. I can't remember again. I will post the price underneath, but as you can see, very good. Now you watch as I do this, and I just dot this under my eyes. It's just going to correct out. I'm just going to use a Real Techniques concealer brush actually to do this, and I'm going to do one eye, and I'm going to show you just how good this product is at colour correcting. And if I just dot some over that brown spot there, away it goes. And a little bit here. I do like using my fingers though. Now, can you see the difference if I just put some also into there? The difference that has immediately made compared to that one. Brilliant product. So all the details will be underneath. And that's my son in the background playing a game. Because it's end of term. What am I saying, half term? End of term. Okay, and where I've got that thing there, I'm getting a little bit of darkness around there. I'm not even going to try and cover that up because it's just not going to cover. But where I've got the darkened skin around it and a little bit up there. And see a bit over my brow. So I've just done a little bit of colour correcting before I've started. Now, moving on, to foundation. This is fantastic. It's called Miracle Touch by Max Factor. Now, I have to admit, I don't use this on a day in, day out basis for putting on my makeup, but it's always in my bag, my handbag, to do touch-ups throughout the day. It feels so smooth and it glides on the skin. It's really cooling. So I don't know if you get very sore under eyes because your eyes water. It's just so soothing, and it's just got a lovely texture to it. My only criticism of the product is it comes in this lovely compact. You twist it off at the bottom, and then it's got a blending pad in the back. But why, oh why did they not put a mirror there? Just don't understand that. Yeah, other than that, I love it. So I'm going to put some on. I'm going to dab it on with my sponge. It just is so cooling, and it's such a good match for my skin. See that? Let's put it on half of my face, and it feels light. It doesn't feel cakey. Feels cooling. It's just great stuff. And even if you just want it, as I say, I use it a lot for touch-ups throughout the day. Sorry about that, guys. I had a phone call. Okay, can you see now that I've just blended that into half of my face? And just how lovely and natural it looks. Really good foundation. So let me put it on the other half. You can see that's the half I haven't done. That's the half I have done. And I haven't blended it down my neck. Naughty girl. Okay, let's put some on the other side. And actually it goes on really nicely with the sponge. Yeah, so I wouldn't really bother with anything else. Why try and fix something that ain't broken? That's what I say. And because it's so light, I do actually put a small layer under my eyes. Kind of pat it on. And it's really good for refreshing under your eyes if your concealer comes off or it starts to crease. Fantastic. Can you tell I love it? So there you go. So that's Max Factor Miracle Touch. As I say, I'll put all the links down below. Now, next I'm going to move on to concealers. There's a couple of ones that I like. One is called Match Perfection by Rimmel. And I'm going to use this one today, which is e.l.f. e.l.f. is a really good brand. And they're really affordable. And I'm going to show you something that I love even more than the concealer. I can't say I use a concealer that much, but there is another item that is coming up in a second that I use all the time. So I'm just going to dot some of this underneath, like so. And then I'm going to use Real Techniques Expert Concealer Brush, again, to blend it in. Real Techniques are really good brushes, and you can often get them on offer. Again, in Boots, Superdrug. Sorry for those from the US watching me. You actually have the US site that you can order directly from. We don't have that. Well, we can order from the site, but then we have to pay customs, and I won't do that out of principle because Real Techniques, the two people that founded it are British, and I don't understand it. But there you are. I'm going off topic. Now, this product by e.l.f. I use all the time. It's fantastic. And it's an under eye setting powder. And you might think, why do I need an under eye setting powder? Why can't I use my other ones? You can, but they're more likely to cake. This is so fine, and it's got quite a slight pink tinge to it. And it just doesn't wrinkle up in the way that normal powders do. Now I've got another make from high-end Becca, which is also very good, but I can honestly say that this is just as good, and I've got friends onto it. I'm just putting some into the lid there, and with a Real Technique setting brush, I'm just going to dab it under my eyes, and it will just set my concealer beautifully without looking cakey, without making me suddenly look really wrinkly. And this is, I can't remember the exact price, as I said I'll post those below, but this is less than £5, and it is just as good as Becca, just as good. Okay, so that's, and then with the rest of my face I'm going to go in with NYX. Can you see a theme here of the brands to look out for? NYX finishing powder, and this has got a slight yellow tinge to it, but it actually just kind of brightens the complexion. I'm just looking for a bigger brush. Let's just use this one for now, and I'm just gonna use a setting brush to set around. Just gives you a bit of a brightening effect, like so. And again, I'm avoiding this side of my face because I'm going to put powder products on it anyway, and I don't want that side to look too mattified. I just want to concentrate on where I tend to get oily throughout the day. Alright. Okay, so on to eyes. First up, I want to show you this product by NYX again, and it's called Proof It. If anybody like me has very watery eyes, this product is absolutely fantastic, because you put it on your lid before your eyeshadow, and it basically waterproofs your eyeshadow. It's really good, and I've not found a better eyeshadow setting product. The only downside to it is so good that when you come to put your eyeshadow on the top, it's really difficult to blend because it just wants to stick to the product, which is a bit of a downside. So it means you have to work a bit harder with your eyeshadow, but it's absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to use that today because, excuse me coughing away, I'm going to use this product by ELF, which is as you can see, it's a cream eyeshadow. This one goes around in my bag every single day, and I often use it to top up my Charlotte Tilbury. And I was thinking the other day, you know, why have I got Charlotte Tilbury? Let me just show you Charlotte Tilbury's Jean eyeshadow. Here we go. And actually, it's slightly pinkier. It is just as good, and I often use it to top up my eyeshadow. And at the moment, I checked the other day online. These are normally £5, but at the moment, this one is reduced to £2 on the ELF website. It's absolute. So I'm going to use this one today, and I'll show you just how lovely it is. And I'm just going to blend it in with my fingers. And I'm going to use this as a base, but actually you can use it on its own, which I often do. And the good thing about cream eyeshadows with this little bit of shimmer is they're really flattering if you've got eyelids that have got a bit of spare skin on them. They're more flattering than powder eyeshadows. And I put some on that side. I mean, £2, guys. And as I say, I use this every day. And I wish I'd stopped saying, and as I say, it's a real habit that I've noticed. But it is just fantastic. And look, I mean, you could get away. The only reason I'm going to put some more eyeshadow is because I want to show you another product. But that looks absolutely fine as it is. And it also makes, cream eyeshadow makes an excellent base for your other eyeshadow products. Now, this palette that I bought is one of my favourite palettes. So again, I'm not talking about this is good enough for the price. I am talking about this is as good to me as any of my high-end palettes. And if I've got some that I bought at a cheaper price that aren't. I'm not featuring those. I'm only going to feature the ones that I think are just as good and that I reach for. This is by Barry M. And it's called Fall in Love. This palette is stunning. It may not look it now, but you wait until I put it on. It is just the pigment, everything. And this palette, I do remember the price of, is £6. Okay. So what I'm going to do, because these were all matte shadows, he does do another one that's got sparkly ones. That's not as much my favourite, so I'm not going to feature it. But the pigment in this is so good. But if you put this on underneath, then that will give you the shimmer that you're after. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of this pink. Oh, let me hold it up because I keep forgetting. It looks, you probably can't see in this light, but it's got a slight pink undertone. And I'm just going to set that shimmer. It might not be as shimmery, but I'm just setting it with this very light pink shade over the top. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is go in, because these are quite deep colours, I'm going to go in with a transition shade. And I'm going to use, so that I gradually build up, otherwise it could look a bit stark. So I'm going to go that one, and then that one in my crease and gradually work my way up. And you will see how absolutely stunning these shadows are. And such good quality. I just don't know how he manages to make it for £6. I'll try and edit out some of my coughing. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with the slightly darker pink shade, as I said, which is this one here. Okay, and it's a sort of pinky brown shade. To just build up that intensity and go a bit further in towards the crease. And a little bit in the corner. So just build it up there. And again this side. And then I'm going to go in with this deep burgundy red, which is this one in the middle there. And I'm going to go in with a slightly smaller. Let me just make sure it's clean. And I'm just going to dot this in the corner here. I don't want it everywhere, just nestled in the corner here. And then I'll go back in with that other brush and blend it out. And they blend so easily. Sometimes with cheaper eyeshadows, you find they don't. This one is just superb. The other side. Now you may want a completely matte look, in which case don't use a cream sparkly eyeshadow underneath. I just think it kind of lifts it a bit. But even if you combine the price of the one that you used as the base and this one, you still spent £8. And I don't honestly think that it looks like you spent £8. There we are. And I'm so tempted. Shall I do it? I'm going to show you a little bit of this yellow here, because it just blends into that red so beautifully and makes it kind of look very like a sunset going on. And again, I'm going to blend that in. I'm just moving it further in and leaving the shimmer. Let me just put a little bit more on. Like that. I'm just dotting it on. And then blending it out. The other side, obviously. Don't go digging into this palette because it's so well pigmented that it is quite powdery. Very like some of the Anastasia palettes. It reminds me of the consistency of them, to be honest. Okay, and I'm then going to run a bit of this just to show you the colours. This one here under my lashes, because it's kind of gorgeous brick sort of brown, reddy brown. Okay, moving on. Okay, we're now going to line our eyes, and this one I picked out. I'd forgotten about this, I'm going to be completely honest, but it is very, very similar to the Charlotte Tilbury Feline Flick pen, but it's drugstore, and it's called L'Oreal Tattoo Signature by Superliner. Exactly the same type of eyeliner, and I'm going to go along and line my upper eyelid with it. Okay, I do like to blend this in a little bit. I'm just going to do it with my fingers actually, just to take the harshness off the line. I think when you're younger and your lids are a lot firmer, you can get a really sharp, precise line. But when I've found in recent years that I put a line on and it doesn't, it sort of crinkles up. So I like to smooth it out. And that's regardless of what pen I'm using. That's any pen. As usual, I'm doing a tick, not a flick. I'm going to go in and I'm going to blend that with my fingers to slightly smudge it out. Okay, now, little tip. A flesh coloured pencil. This one, Charlotte Tilbury does them, but you can get drugstore. This one is a Rimmel London one. Again, I'll post the price underneath. If you get a flesh coloured pencil, eye pencil, it serves you so many different purposes, okay? So I'm just going to show you. You can use it under your waterline here, which I'm not going to do today for this look because I'm going to use something else. You can use it to go around your brow and just tidy up any lines. You can use it to go around your lip and tidy up your lipstick if it started to bleed. You can also go around and use it as a spot concealer like this. It has got so many uses that it's just a good thing to have, okay? And you can use it in your waterline. So I'll just show you a little bit, which would just make your eyes look bigger. But I'm not going to use that today because I wanted to show you this one, and everybody, when I use this, comments on it, which is I've got the blue because it creates such a lovely contrast to when I'm doing kind of purpley colours. If you've got brown eyes, this really works. And it might look a bit weird to start with, but once I've got my mascara on, it just really works. And that's what I'm fancy putting on today. And this is another drugstore eyeliner called I've Got the Blue, and it lasts pretty well. And it's L'Oreal Infallible. Okay, moving on to, we now have mascara. As you know, I love my MAC, but this mascara is very, very good by L'Oreal, and it's called Paradise Mascara. Now, I think in the States there are all sorts of different versions, whereas in the UK you can only get one version. I will post the link to this one below. You can only get one version in the UK, so just be careful in the US, because I think there's more than one version, and I don't know what the other versions are. But this is a really, really good mascara. And some say it is a dupe for the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. And reason being is it looks quite similar, the packaging. And it's sort of got the same kind of effect on the lashes. Okay, now we're going to move on to blushes and bronzers. Sorry, I must stop talking while I do that. Just reaching for my stuff. Okay, I was going to move on to blushes, but I'm not because I haven't done my brows yet. Now, some of you know from the other day that I recommended a Max Factor, I think it was Max Factor, brow liner, which is very good. This is another one. It came out the same time as the L'Oreal Paradise Mascara, and it's called Paradise Pomade. So it's very like the Anastasia Beverly Hills pomade. Comes with a little brush in the lid like that you can use, and then you pull the cap off and you can see it looks very, very much like the pomade Really good. The only thing you don't have is the brush to sweep up your brows. The only other thing I will say is it probably dries out quicker than the Anastasia one, but it's also a lot cheaper, so probably about half the price. So the brush works really well, seems really easy to hold, and the colour for dark brows is very, very natural. Anastasia's got a lot of colours to choose from, but it can get quite confusing actually. There's almost too many to choose from. Hello, Jack.
Hi.
Okay, there's my brows done. That quickly. And now we're going to move on to blush. And I have got, yet again, another L'Oreal Infallible blush set. And I like this because there's some sort of pinky peaches and some peaches. So it kind of works for a variety of different looks. Really good. And I'm going to use this blush brush from Real Techniques. And what I love about this brush is it's almost impossible to put too much blusher on. The way that it's very, very soft. So I'm going to use, I think, this one in the middle, which is this one here. And I'm just going to dot that. Do you see how it just, because it's such a soft brush, it's almost impossible to get a big splodge of blush on. The only thing is that you might find that you have to spend a time building up the colour. But I would rather do that than end up with a big splodge of blusher. And what I might do is just put another colour. I'm going to do this one. And I'm just going to put that, pop it on the centre there. So like with the Charlotte Tilbury ones, there's always two colours. Okay, and then I'm kind of doing all this in the wrong order. But it doesn't matter. Bronzer. Now, I have to say the Hoola bronzer is fantastic. Now, Benefit Hoola is not quite drugstore, but if you buy the travel one, which is about half the price, it's less than £10. You get a little mirror in there, you get a little brush, and it lasts forever, this bronzer. And so you don't need the full size. And I'm just gonna, the brush is also very good for contouring. You can either use it that way or you can use it that way if you want a line. I will show you what I mean by doing a quick nose contour. If you do it sideways like that, it just really gives you a really good line. Okay, and then I'm just going to sweep some over my head, and I'm just doing it sideways to use it as a bronzer. A bit on my chin, a bit down the side of my nose, like that, and a little bit under here. Brilliant, brilliant product. And last but not least, we have highlighter. Brilliant drugstore highlighter, Barry M. I think you could probably see a theme. L'Oreal, Barry M, Elf, and Max Factor. These liquid chrome, they come in about 5 shades. To be honest, I collected them, but you don't need all the shades. And I'm just going to use the shade Liquid Fortune. And I'm going to dot a little bit on the back of my hand. Can you see that? Ignore that, that's my eyeshadows. And then just grab a tiny bit on your finger and just dot it on, and then with a clean finger go around and just keep dabbing until you've got the kind of coverage you want. It just gives a lovely cream glow to your face. Okay. You can also use this to put a bit over your lips. Just be careful, because less is definitely more with this stuff. You can put a bit in the middle of your nose, and you can dot some in the corner of your eye like that. Use under your eyebrows to create a bit of a highlight. And that's me done. Put a bit on my chin. There we go. Right, I'm just going to rub that into my hand for a minute. And then we finish off with lips. Okay? Now, there's various options for lips. Again, I like the Barry M lip kits. Barry M lip kits are $6.99. I always keep I tell you why I keep these in the box. Because the Barry M lip kits come with a liquid lipstick and a matching lip liner. So I keep them in the box so that I don't lose the matching lip liner. So let me just show you this one. This one is called, I don't know, 24 carat. So let me just show you this. So that is the lip liner. Doesn't quite do it justice, but it is a very nice. Probably you can see it more on the actual liquid, because they do match. And then this is the lipstick that goes with it. Okay, which I could actually do today, but what I'm going to show you is another lipstick which nobody ever talks about, but it has to be the most long wearing lipstick ever. And I'm talking about any brand that I've ever come across, and it's a drugstore brand, and that is Rimmel Provocalips. And as you can see, I've got quite a few that I've had for a while, because they last so much. They're just brilliant at lasting. So I've got a pink one. I wore this red one and I went out and I took my makeup off, but I forget about my lips, because normally your lipstick's gone. Woke up in the morning and there was this pale face looking at me in the mirror and bright red lips, because it had stayed on all night. And I can honestly say I've never ever known of a lipstick that lasts as long. But what I'm going to wear today, because I'm about to take my son out to the pictures, is a more natural shade. And this one is called, what is it called? What is it called? I will find it and I will post. Make Your Move. And this goes on as a liquid. Once it dries down, you put the other side on. And once it dries, it doesn't budge. Just make sure you've got a good oily makeup remover, because otherwise you're going to have difficulty getting it off. It is fantastic. Then you put this, once it's dry, I'm going to wait for it to dry. You put this side on just to give some moisture to your lips, because they can be quite drying, and this will not bring the lipstick off. And it is fantastic. I think that's dry now. Okay, and that is my look. And everything I've used is drugstore makeup. So I hope I've given you some ideas. And you've enjoyed watching today. If you've liked this, please press like. Please tell your friends. Please subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to give you a bit of an update. In the most unforgiving light, but that was the whole point of it. I've been out with my son. We've been to the pictures. My eyes are streaming still from my cold, as you can see. And all of this makeup has really stood well to the test of streaming eyes, runny noses. You see, my eyeshadow is still on. And let me zoom in on my lipstick, because I need to tell you that since putting that lipstick on, I've had a ham sandwich and half a chocolate croissant and a couple of cups of tea. And it's still not budged. So, I think that's pretty good wear. And obviously, there's probably a bit of my concealer's come off, but my eye's just constantly streaming. So that's going to happen. But otherwise, I think it's really done a really good job staying put. So you don't always get what you pay for. You just need to look for the right products. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'm just going to go and sneeze away now. Bye.